Over the years, you've heard me ask wealth manager Warren Ingram the big questions. How do we invest wisely? How do we protect our family's future? All those conversations, that entire library of financial expertise is now available as a podcast. Straightforward advice to help you build your wealth on demand. Just search for Warren Ingram's Personal Finance wherever you get your podcasts.
Lunch with Jacob Moshokoa on CapeTalk. It is 13:42 and we're probably going into my most favorite part of the show. This is our travel and tourism feature. And I saw the word Sutherland and my mind just went crazy. Back in 2017 or 2018, we had this amazing experience where we teamed up with one of the big motoring manufacturers, and Cape Town studios, i.e. KFM and CapeTalk presenters, got into these cars and they did a trek around the country to go up to Joburg. And we were in Joburg, 947 and 702 guys got into these cars and we did a drive the long way to Cape Town. And our journey took us to Sutherland, my very first time going to Sutherland. I couldn't understand why our producer, Gary Oberholzer, was like, we got to go to Sutherland. This is why Sutherland is on the map. And then I got there and I saw the South African Light Telescope. I was blown away. We had to go there at sunset, the most beautiful, gorgeous sunset. We went in November, so it was nice and warm. And seeing the stars around that area totally boggled my mind. And ever since then, I've been so obsessed with Sutherland. I remember going back home to tell my mom, who was a geography teacher, by the way. She was like, Sutherland is one of the top places she'd like to visit. And that's one place I'd love to take my mom, specifically for the stars and to experience the snow in winter. It is the type of place that you have to go and experience in 2 or 3 different seasons, because apparently every season has a story to tell when it comes to Sutherland. And now Sutherland is known as the #1 hotspot for stargazing and this beautiful new term I just learned called Astro Tourism. What a great way to talk about what happens in the galaxy. And my experience in Sutherland was that, learning about the galaxy from the Light Telescope. It is the perfect and most serene place to do a proposal. Rafiq, if you want to propose, you can propose there if you want. Or you want to have a picnic under the stars. It is the ultimate place to do it. And the really cool thing was, we ran out of petrol when we were leaving there and we needed to stop at one of the filling stations in Sutherland. I think there's only one filling station there. What we did was we had to call the owner of the filling station to come and open up for us so we can fill up our cars there. And then he was even like, "Nia, julle kan ry, you guys can go. I'll just send you a WhatsApp with my banking details and you can just send me an EFT." That's how it is in Sutherland. You go to a B&B, there's an honesty bar there. You don't have to take out money or swipe your card. It's the level of trust, the level of Ubuntu, the level of South Africanness. That's the thing about Sutherland. You want to go there to experience all of this and, of course, to do some proper stargazing. And that takes us into a full-on conversation about astrotourism. I'll get to Sutherland in a bit now. I'd like to just start by chatting to our guest, Daniel Cunnama. He'll be telling us a little more about what's been happening in observatory. Now, if you didn't know, today we're going to focus on astrotourism specifically because the launch last week of the visitor center at the historic South African Astronomical Observatory is now open. It was the official opening of the Remote Operations Center, which both form part of government's broader astrotourism strategy. To tell us more about the center and what visitors can expect to see, we're joined on the line by science engagement astronomer at the South African Astronomical Observatory, Dr. Daniel Cunnama. Dr. Daniel Cunnama, thank you so much for joining us on CapeTalk. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Now, tell us a little more about this visitors center. What can visitors expect and experience when they visit this newly opened remote operations center?
Yeah, so there's a few things on offer. So the observatory itself, as you mentioned, is an in-observatory in Cape Town. We were here first, and then they named the suburb after us. So the observatory was established in 1820, so we've been around for 205 years now. We held our bicentenary back in 2020. And on the site, over those years, many things have come and gone. As you mentioned, now the operating telescopes are all up in Sutherland and have been there since the 70s, including the Southern African Large Telescope, SALT. But we still have a large head office here in Cape Town, and many historical instruments which are still here and available to the public, as well as a museum. And for many years we've been hosting tours, so open nights and other tours where members of the public can come and they get a talk by an astronomer, and then a tour of the historical observatory, see one of our old telescopes, the McLean, which is a very large refracting telescope, and visit the museum and just get an idea of what astronomy was like here in Cape Town for many years. And then recently, since 2020, we've been working on a couple of projects which you mentioned. The first was the Remote Operations Center. So the telescopes being up in Sutherland, initially meant that the astronomers had to go up to Sutherland and spend a night there in the dark and the cold, observing and operating the telescopes from there. But over the last few years, we've managed to link up most of our telescopes to be remotely operable, so they can be controlled from anywhere, as long as you have a laptop and an internet connection. And then as part of that, we built a remote operations center here in Cape Town, which is a very high-tech room which connects live to Sutherland. You can see the all-sky camera in Sutherland, and the weather, and you can even hear what's going on in the telescopes in Sutherland, so that the astronomers can sit here comfortably and control the telescopes remotely. So we added that as an offering that people could visit here in Cape Town. And then, as you mentioned, the visitor center. So we refurbished an old pump house at the observatory into a cutting-edge visitor center. And in that, we wanted to not just showcase the incredible technical expertise and science that we do, but also more of a sort of deeper cultural connection to astronomy. So we did some original research on indigenous constellations from the Khoi and San people, and those are reflected on our roof. We have a beautiful installation in the ceiling, and quite a few sort of information boards around that, and some animations highlighting the indigenous star lore. So it's been a wonderful project over the last 5 or so years, and very exciting to have finally launched it last week.
That's fantastic news. Now, Dr. Daniel, tell me something. This is something that you would open up to school groups, you'd open up to adults, you'd open up to anyone and everyone can visit. When are the visiting hours? How does it actually work? Do we need to book ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have school groups, and we have had for many years school groups coming through, and those happen during the week. So we have Tuesdays and Wednesdays are available for schools, and they are required to book. And we give the schools a tour of our observatory. They also get a talk and often a hands-on activity, depending on what they're after and the age of the students. So we do run school tours during the week. And then we're slowly ramping up our tours and open nights. So we used to just run open nights twice a month. Through summer now, we did a soft launch in this past summer, towards the end of last year, just to try and get the visitor center, debugged, so to speak. And yeah, so then we were running 3 or 4 tours a week. And it's a little bit quiet now during winter, but we'll be ramping up again shortly. So all of those tours are listed on our website, saao.ac.za. So you can go there and you can book. There are quicket links for each of the events, and they do sell out quite quickly. I would just encourage you to visit the website. Otherwise, you can find us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, and wherever you get your media.
Can you just give us that website again? SAAO.ac.za.
SAAO.za.
SAAO.ac.za. That's where we'll find all the details about the new visitor center and, of course, the remote operations center. Dr. Daniel Cunnama, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Such a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Daniel Cunnama chatting to us a little more about the new features in observatory. And he mentioned it when we opened up. They've been here forever. They were there before the place was called Observatory. I really appreciate that. And if you're looking for something to do, make sure you get your children out there. All your details at SAAO.ac.za. But we're still on Astro Tourism, and we're now talking about my favorite spot in the country. It is Sutherland. I gave the most heartfelt intro for this place for a reason. It's because I visited this place and I thought it is a really amazing place, and it's something you got to experience at least once. The only issue was I didn't sleep over there. I stayed over in Maatjiesfontein, which is about a 40 or 45 minute drive away from Sutherland. But I mean, that is the plan, right? The plan is to go to Sutherland in the near future, maybe when it's a little warmer, because I don't think I'll be able to deal with the snow in Sutherland, although that is, of course, one of the attractions. But to tell us more on what else you can get up to, we are now joined on the line by Jacques du Plessis. He's from Discover Sutherland and the Karoo Astro Route. Jacques, thank you so much for joining us on CapeTalk. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Jacob. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So it's that time of the year that Sutherland must be living up to its reputation of being the coldest town in South Africa. What's the weather like there today?
Yeah, this morning we started at -4.
Oh, no.
But that's without the chill feeling. So I think at the end of the day, it feels like -8 in the mornings.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness.
But I mean, if you visited in November, you have to come during the winter season.
You're not making it sound amazing. You said -8, Jacques. Come on. What else can I do if I come to Sutherland in winter?
Obviously the stargazing. So we get a lot of requests for where can they, the people do the stargazing. So as Daniel said, he had the remote observatory in observatory, but sold as 2 tours in the morning, one tour in the morning and 1 tour in the afternoon. And then they also do night tours where you can physically, then they give you a guided tour where you can see the domes and the scopes. And then there are 2, one private stargazing place in town, the Sutherland Planetarium, which they do 3D full dome tours during the day, and then they've got a night stargazing as well. And then we've got Jurg's Sterland Stargazing, which is a kilometer out of town, where he's got a fossil display, and he also does the stargazing tours at night.
Now, if anyone is thinking about coming to visit Sutherland, where do they go about getting all the information they need when it comes to accommodation, the bookings for stargazing, etc.? How do we go about doing that?
Jacob, obviously at SAAO you have to do the tours do the bookings online, and we've got discoversutherland.co.za, and we do have Karoo Astro Route.co.za. And all the information that people will need, the contact details to do booking online, everything is on the website.
And in general, the surrounding areas around Sutherland, are there also areas that promote this astro tourism?
You will, Ragekloof, just outside of Oudtshoorn, they do amazing, they've got all kinds of tours, hiking tours, the game drives, you can at the night stargazing as well. And then the farm, Blesfontein, is about 26 kilometers out of town. And Nicole, the owner there, also give to his guests stargazing at night, should they wish to do so.
Jacques, I thank you so much for your time. Jacques du Plessis of Discover Sutherland. That website again, karooastroRoute.co.za. And the other one is?
discoversutherland.co.za.
discoversutherland.co.za. Now, if you didn't know, now you know. This is the place to do your stargazing. This is the place to take some time out and go see some real snow. Jacques du Plessis, he's from Discover Sutherland and the Karoo Astro Route, giving us a little more insight on what actually happens in Sutherland. And it's not only a winter thing, you can also go in the summer. There's always something to experience there. And these websites he just mentioned are a perfect place to start doing your research. I hope to see you guys in Sutherland next year.